2024 SummerSlam. So the show kicked off with a huge title match, Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. Now, this was a pretty interesting match, a pretty interesting lead up to the match. You had a lot of controversy with, Dirty Dom with Rhea and Liv. It was sort of looking like Liv was trying to trap Dirty Dom, and kind of putting him in these weird situations which kind of look like, taken out of context, would look kind of weird. But going into the match, it looked like Dom really had that loyalty to Rhea, and they looked like coming out, a Judgment Day United front. They came out. Some shenanigans went on in the match, but overall was a pretty entertaining match. Rhea Ripley looked like she popped out her shoulder, and she was trying to pop it back in. That looked crazy, by the way. Stuff like that is what I love to see. That is some rock star stuff right there. And then one thing led to another. Dominic had Dominic had stopped Rhea Ripley from hitting Liv Morgan with the chair because she was about to do that, and it would have cost her the title match. He done that, but one thing led to another, and then Dirty Dom got involved, distracted the referee. Liv Morgan hit her finish onto Rhea Ripley, onto that steel chair that Dominic took from Rhea Ripley. And then that was it. Rhea was out for the count. And then after that, the huge swerve happened where Dirty Dom kissed Liv Morgan and, solidified, cemented the fact that he has turned on Rhea Ripley and he is no longer a part of the Judgment Day. We'll talk about the Judgment Day later on. But, yeah. Dominic Mysterio is with Liv Morgan now, gave her, a nice kiss. He's one lucky guy because a lot of dudes would die to be in that position, and I think that's going to really help continue to get Dominic over as a heel. Because if you're just that guy that everyone's jealous of, everyone hates, then you're going to continue to get those big reactions from the people. But Liv Morgan retains her Women's World Championship in a pretty decent opener. As far as openers go for WWE Premium Live events, as a pretty good match and got the crowd going with a huge turn at the end. But Liv Morgan retains her WWE Women's World Championship, and I'd be interested to see where they go with this now. Obviously, I imagine the end goal will be, Rhea winning that championship back and her being the champion again. But I thought Rhea might have won it at SummerSlam, but she didn't. So they're keeping us on our toes. I'm definitely interested to see what happens next in that storyline. Also, what's next for the Judgment Day? We'll see. We'll get onto that later on. But they've left them in a very interesting situation where Liv Morgan now, she's a pretty good main eventer at this point. I know she didn't main event this show, but she's a Women's World Champion and put on a pretty decent match against Rhea. I mean, Rhea's bona fide main eventer. Rhea's bona fide at this point. She can put on a great match. Overall, can tell a great story. Liv Morgan's not quite at that point yet in terms of in-ring ability, being able to tell that story. Rhea can do it brilliantly. But Liv still has a bit more developing to do. Not to say that she hasn't developed, because she seriously has. And her skills, you compare Liv Morgan now to where she was 5 years ago in terms of everything, in terms of story, in terms of character, in terms of promo. Her promos aren't amazing, but she's good eye candy, so it's okay. I wanted Liv Morgan to potentially get this push a few years back, but it's all about timing, and timing's worked out pretty good. Where story's been amazing, and they're able to make it work, and she's been put on some good matches. She won the title in Saudi, and Rhea's gonna have the revenge tour next. Because even though maybe Rhea's going to have the revenge tour next. Yeah, like I said, let's see. Because they've got some interesting directions they can go in, because we could have a situation where Rhea Ripley goes on a tear and works her way up back to the world title match. And then beats Liv Morgan in a huge, sort of celebration win. But it'd be interesting to see, because she was the de facto leader of the Judgment Day, and she's not got a world title anymore. So it certainly will be interesting